Hello and welcome back to Rattler Tech Tube. My name is Nate and today we are going to be talking about the MM700 Extended RGB Mousepad by Corsair. Remember back when a mousepad was just a small little square rubber piece with cloth on it that you simply just use just to make your mouse work correctly? Well, now companies like Asus, Razer, Height, Corsair, and SteelSeries, just to name a few, have completely changed the game when it comes to RGB mouse pads. Now your mouse pad isn't just simply a surface, it's a decoration. It can be even a statement piece to your gaming setup. These companies have completely changed the way we look at mouse pads. They're actually more like desk pads than they are mouse pads now. These new mouse pads not only are much larger than their counterparts, but they also light up to whatever color your heart desires. So lo and behold, I decided it was time for me to ditch my old square mouse pad and upgrade to the new Corsair MM700 Extended RGB Mousepad. Not only does it give my desk a really cool aesthetic, but it also provides an amazing surface for me to sit here and talk about products on for these videos. Nowadays, there's probably over 100 companies making these mouse pads. However, some of them are more well known than others. Some of them are simply just cheap knockoffs, while others have their own technology behind the mouse pads themselves. So after doing a lot of research, when deciding which mouse pad to buy, I basically narrowed it down to SteelSeries, Corsair, Asus, and Razer as the companies I was looking at to get one of these mouse pads from. Ultimately, I ended up going with Corsair as I already have a Corsair keyboard and mouse, so this mouse pad integrated with the software I already have on my computer, and it kept me from having to download new software in order for me to fully customize the mouse pad. And to go with that, as I said in my last video, I really appreciate the direction that Corsair is going here, as they seem to really be making better quality products the last couple years and listening to the feedback from their customers to provide really solid products that their customers really want to use. The ease of connecting everything through their software for me is really great. It's super easy to use. It can be a little bit taxing on your computer if you have a really old system. However, for most users, you're not going to find it an issue. And like I said, the software is simple to use, easy to connect everything together, and I really have no complaints as far as the software part of it is concerned. Now, with all that being said, a big part of me really wants to come here and still tell you that you are paying a premium for the Corsair name on this product. But the question is, are you really? Let's find out. So starting off talking about what's in the box, it comes with everything you would expect. You get a warranty guide, you get the instruction manual, you get a nice black braided 5.5 foot USB-C to USB-A cable to connect your mouse pad, and of course you get the mouse pad itself. There's really no surprises here, as most of the stuff is what you would expect out of the box for this RGB mouse pad, as it is simply just a plug and play device. Once you plug it in, it is ready to go. Moving right along to the look and feel of this mouse pad. This mouse pad does have a super smooth, really premium feeling surface that your mouth glides really well across. I have no complaints here. I have no problems when it comes to mouse tracking, as it seems to pick the mouse up super well. Of course, I would hope so, being a Corsair mouse on a Corsair mouse pad. But to go with that, this mouse pad is 930 millimeters long by 400 millimeters deep, or for my friends here in the United States, it is 36.6 inches by 15.5 inches. It is also a nice 4mm stick, which does give it a little bit of weight to it. That kind of helps when you pull it out of the box and you're trying to get it to flatten out. However, as I mentioned later, you will probably need to put something heavy on it to help flatten it out. But the 4mm stick does make this mouse pad seem really durable and like it's going to last for a really long time. Now, when it comes to durability of this mouse pad, as I did pay for this mouse pad with my own money for my own personal use, I wasn't quite willing to put it through any of the tests to really test the durability of the mouse pad, as I didn't want to ruin it as soon as I got it. Once I got this mouse pad set up, it really did give my desk a whole different vibe and feel to it. It really made my desk look super clean compared to what it was before. That, coupled with the premium feel of this mouse pad, makes this super enjoyable to use, and I'm actually really loving this mouse pad for day-to-day use. So now we get to the part of the show that everybody's been waiting for, the RGB lighting of this mouse pad. So if you're buying an RGB mouse pad, probably one of the more important aspects of the mouse pad you're looking at is the lighting itself. This mouse pad has 3 lighting zones, one being the control module box, while the other 2 control the whole outer edge of this mouse pad. The lights going around the border of this mouse pad don't light up quite as bright when you're comparing them to the mouse or the keyboard, as it is 2 lighting zones trying to light up the whole mouse pad. It does do its job and it lights up well. However, I feel like some other mouse pads might have brighter RGB lights if that's the type of thing you're looking for. When it comes to the static colors, they really do show up well and really give a great accent to the aesthetic of your desk, especially if you have other RGB products on your desk. However, if you're trying to cycle through the color features that change colors, I did notice that while changing colors, some of the colors can look a little bit white or washed when transitioning from one color to another. So that is something to be aware of with this mouse pad. One cool feature that did come with this mouse pad is on the control module. They did put a button there where you can cycle through 12 preset onboard RGB lighting features. This ranges from everything from static colors to color features that change colors on the fly. And all this can be done without the use of the iCUE software. However, if you want total control and full customization of the lighting on your mouse pad, you of course will need to download and install the iCUE software to be able to get that full control. One feature that I do love about this mouse pad is that, at least to the naked eye, there are no visible hot spots or dull spots on this mouse pad. Everything is lit super evenly, which is a feature that a lot of mouse pads are kind of hit and miss when it comes to RGB lights going around the border of it, particularly with these extended size mouse pads. Moving on to the connectivity of this mouse pad, this thing was super simple to set up, as you literally just plug it into your computer and it's ready to go. If you don't have iCUE software installed already, you will need to download the software, like I said, to get full customization. But once you have the software installed on your PC or Mac, or whatever the case may be, it will instantly pick up your mouse pad the first time you plug it into your computer. The whole process of getting this mouse pad set up took me all of about 5 minutes, going through everything from plugging it in to setting the lights exactly the way I wanted it, and I was ready to go. The control module for this mouse pad also has 2 USB-A pass-through on the control module itself, so it does free up 2 USB ports on your computer if you choose to use them. I use one for the USB dongle for my mouse, as it is a wireless mouse. I tried plugging my keyboard in, but it became super hard to really cable manage the cord and hide it when I have it plugged into the mouse pad, so I ended up just plugging it back into my computer. However, for wireless devices, I do find this feature really great, as it does, like I said, free up ports on your computer that you can use for other things. Now, when it came to plugging my mouse dongle into the USB port on the mouse pad, it was super stiff to get it in there. Like, I really had to look to make sure I wasn't plugging it in the wrong way. But once I got it in there, it worked just like I had it plugged into my PC. I haven't had any issues with it. So while it is stiff, I guess a good thing about that is I don't have to worry about the dongle ever fallen out of the USB port. And I have pulled it out once or twice. It hasn't been that difficult to get out. It's just trying to push it into the USB port for some reason. It is a really tight fit. There are some other features to this mouse pad I kind of wanted to go over really quickly. The first being the size of this mouse pad, as it is 930 millimeters by 400 millimeters. This is slightly bigger than a lot of the mouse pads by the competitors, especially in this price point. For these XL mouse pads, most of them tend to be 900 millimeters right on the dot. So you do get a little bit of extra room with this mouse pad. This mouse pad also has a really nice textured rubber on the bottom of it. I would assume this would come with all mouse pads, as it really does a great job of keeping the mouse pad in place. If the mouse pad doesn't come with it, I wouldn't quite understand why. Like I said, I haven't really checked the other mouse pads, so I can't comment per se on them, but I would assume it would be standard to have the textured rubber on the bottom of all of them. One super cool feature about this mouse pad also is that even though it doesn't say anywhere on the website that I can find or the box, this is spill resistant, not the same as waterproof. But if you spill a little bit on the mouse pad, you can easily wipe it up without it seeping directly into the mouse pad. However, of course, if you spill a big glass of liquid onto your mouse pad, you will probably leave a stain, and it might affect a little bit of the performance of your mouse pad. This is another one of those tests where I wasn't quite willing to run to see how much water I could spill on it before it started seeping into the mouse pad. I know there's videos on YouTube showing people doing spill tests on this mouse pad. I'm going to leave it to them, as like I said, this is my own personal mouse pad, and I don't want to quite cross the line as to leave big stains on my mouse pad quite yet. Aside from that, there really isn't much to say about this mouse pad, as it really is just a really big mouse pad with RGB lights going around it. So when you first pull this out of the box, it will have a curvature to it, as it has been sitting rolled up in the box. Not every mouse pad is going to be the same, as it kind of just depends how long it's been sitting on the shelf, wrapped up in the box. For me, I ended up flattening this out while I was at work. I just put a blanket on top of it, put a heavy tote on top of that, and let it set. For the 10 hours or so I was at work, came home, and the mat was almost completely flat. For you, it may take a little bit longer, a little bit shorter. As I said, it really just depends how long it's been sitting in the box and how long that shape has really set into the mouse pad. Now the next con on this list pertains to the lighting. Now this mouse pad does have 3 lighting zones, but one of them is simply just a control module. So you have 2 zones controlling the full lighting for this whole mouse pad basically. So if you're wearing a static color, like, the lighting looks amazing. No complaints there. However, if you're using lighting effects where it's constantly changing colors, or you have this linked up to your mouse and keyboard to where you're doing water effects through them or anything like that, some of the effects this mouse pad will look like it's just glitching and flashing on and off, trying to replicate the effects of your other devices, and it really doesn't look that good. So it would be nice if they had a couple more lighting nodes in the middle to kind of help with those effects. However, for me, I use the static color on mine all the time anyway, except for when I'm recording these videos, so it doesn't affect me that much. However, when it comes to lighting, it's super subjective, so it is something that everyone should be aware of. The last thing on this list also pertains to lighting, as the lighting isn't quite as bright as my mouse or keyboard. So once I connected it through iCUE and I tried to use the same color that my mouse and keyboard are set to, it really was a different color, and I actually had to go in and adjust it in order to get it to show the same color that it was showing on the iCUE software. So even though it did take some adjustment, if you're not using Corsair products with this mouse pad, it's something that you're going to end up having to adjust anyway to get just the right color that you want. However, for me, I just noticed that the lights on the mouse pad are a little bit dimmer. Of course, you only have 2 zones basically sending light the whole way through the mouse pad, so it's kind of expected with these RGB mouse pads. However, I have seen that some mouse pads are brighter than others in that aspect. So just something to keep in mind when you're looking for a new mouse pad. So like any product that you buy, this mouse pad has its pros and its cons to it. But the question of the day, is this mouse pad worth $65? Well, that really depends on what you want out of this mouse pad. I would say if you already have IQ installed on your system, or if you're looking to use other IQ products with it, then absolutely it's a great deal. Aside from that, if the quality of the mouse pad material is really what you're looking for, then absolutely you cannot go wrong with the MM700. This is, however, a premium feeling mouse pad that has a spill resistant surface, great tracking, and an overall premium look to it. I personally am really happy I purchased this mouse pad as it looks great, it feels great, and it seems like it's really durable and will last me a really long time. Not only that, but it's a great complement to the mouse and keyboard I already have through Corsair. So for me personally, even at the price point of $65, this was still a really good value for me. However, every person is going to be looking for different things out of the mouse pad that they choose. So this is really subjective. It just depends on what you're looking for and what you want out of the mouse pad. Even though you're paying probably at least a little bit for the name, keep in mind that this mouse pad is made of really good quality material and comes with some really great features to it. As a bonus, at the time of recording this video, this mouse pad is actually on sale through Amazon for 23% off. So regularly $65, it's on sale for $50. I don't know how long the sale will last. I did leave a link for the mouse pad in the description below if you want to check the current price, or just check out the mouse pad and some of the other competitors that are in the same range. And that's a wrap, folks. Thank you for everyone for tuning in and checking out the MM700 Extended RGB Mousepad by Corsair. Coming up, I will be doing a review of the keyboard that you saw in some of the clips in this video. So if you're interested, please stay tuned for that. And as always, if you found the information in this video useful, please smash the like button, consider subscribing to the channel. As being a small channel, it really helps the channel grow. Please feel free to leave any comments and feedback in the comment section below. I will do my best to reply to each and every one, as it is super appreciated. Being a new creator myself, I really enjoy the feedback. So that will do it for me. Stay safe, and we will see you in the next video.